Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Coffee Review, or MCR. I'm Jason Artley, joined here with Michael Achabe, as always, to talk about Bluebeam and Bluebeam adjacent things in the AEC industry. Um, Michael and I have been doing this for over 4 years now, and every week we try to start a little early. And today we're sort of blabbing about Bluebeam Unbound because we've booked our travel and we're getting all excited. But before we talk more about that, how you doing today, my friend?
Good, good. Excited to talk about some of the things that we have topic related that you put together for us. Jason put together a list this time around versus me. So we're excited about that. Excited to have you back. We're gonna have a bunch of travel these coming months, so we'll keep you all updated. Some of them may coincide with one of us not being able to attend, meaning that we'll have to cancel it, which we don't typically do here, but we're probably going to have to because we're having a lot of travel in the coming months. So, with that, first up, we'll be traveling next week. So we will be in attendance, I believe, for this. Is this correct? We don't.
Yeah,
I don't remember looking
I'm
at the list for Tuesday.
I won't be available, but I'm hoping you and Jolie can. Since Jolie will be joining you at Unbound, joining us at Unbound, it'd be nice to sh- have her pop back in. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, so I don't know what we're doing on that Tuesday morning. So I'll have to coordinate that with my internal team who's actually flying out here today. So I'll talk with Matt, Lynn, and see if we can. So if we are, it'll be on your all's calendars. If not, don't worry, it won't be on your calendar. So that's the great thing about what we have now with Teams is that you'll be able to join or you won't be able to join. So either or. We'll keep you all posted. And then you can also check out the LinkedIn. We'll let you know on there too.
Yep. Yeah, I've been kind of slacking when it comes to our stuff, when it comes to posting on LinkedIn, but
Social
that's okay.
media.
That's okay. We're still having some fun. So what we're going to talk about today is just takeoff strategies. Since the last time we talked about takeoff, I've spent some time learning the Autodesk side of Autodesk takeoff.
Did you actually
And
learn it and build?
no, I watched somebody else do
Oh,
it,
okay.
but I was like, okay. So this is more of one of those things where the strategy that you do in Bluebeam is going to be different than what you do in Autodesk and whatever other software is out there, but they're getting closer. So before we dive into the meat and potatoes of all that, we were talking about Bluebeam Unbound. So this is
Yep.
Bluebeam's conference, and I'm mentioning that today because we've mentioned it a couple times. The early bird discount ends next week. So if you still haven't registered, go ahead and do that. There's plenty of discount codes out there. ATG's is Unbound ATG, saves you 20%.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings it down considerably. The hotel that the conference is at is actually fairly affordable for Washington, D.C., and flights were reasonable. So if you're still on the fence, it's going to be worth going. There is a free opportunity to take the professional exam, which we've heard is different than previous years. And there's also a bunch of other cool stuff going on. The class list is incredible. Truly, there are some sessions that are going to be incredibly valuable for you and for you to take back to your firm. So it'll be a good time. It'll be well worthwhile. But the elephant in the conference world room is it's also the same month as Autodesk University. Yep, it's going to be very tough to do both of them. However, Bluebeam is going to be a lot cheaper overall, a little easier to get to, I think. And
Is it the Nashville?
eh, I don't know. I've never been in Nashville, so you tell me. But
I'll tell you in August, but I feel like I don't know. Vegas is nothing's easier than to get to Vegas. I don't know
right,
why AU doesn't just make it always in Vegas. Easy transit, easy travel, in and out. The only time that I think I've had the worst experience was in during Formula One. But like
mm,
again, coming back full circle, why don't make it easy for everyone to travel to these big conferences? But you can
like
continue on. That's my gripe.
San Diego worked out fine,
Yeah.
you know, um, and Vegas works out fine. LA, Denver, like I don't see why they don't go to a hub city,
Yep.
like Denver or Dallas or Chicago, where most airlines travel through there. Um, but hey, I don't know. But side note, we're already going to start with a squirrel. Have you seen what's happening in Vegas? I
No,
had a
I haven't
buddy
seen.
send me some YouTube stuff that Vegas is a ghost town, and
Is it really?
like nobody's going anymore, and like the streets are empty, and it's just weird to go to
Find that
Vegas
hard to
anymore.
believe.
Well, it's different stuff going on, but
I mean, I
yeah,
haven't been there for like a year. Court and I haven't gone. I think it's been a year. Yeah, because our friends got married was the last time we went to Vegas. We haven't. We used to travel to Vegas pretty frequently, but since we're going to Japan, we haven't done any macro travel. We had thought about going before we go to Japan, but we're going to save some more funds to spend in Japan, so we decided not to do a quick trip out there.
yeah, I don't think I've been since 22 when we did our one team thing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, quite interesting. But I'm not much of a gambler, as I learned last week. But I still used to go to Vegas a lot, and I'm curious to see if the travel rumors are true. But
Yeah, I would have to go out there now. I'm interested, but again, I wouldn't be able to because we're going in October. But we like to go for the food, right? The food, the stay, it's awesome. So other people like to go for gambling, events and shows and things of that nature. So, but I find that hard to believe. So I would love to be
yeah, just hop on
to
YouTube
challenge that.
and look
Okay.
look up Vegas Ghost Town, and like even the YouTubers, YouTuber people, they're silly. They were like, look, and they're walking around, and there's nobody behind them, like in the middle of the day, and that's weird.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, because I have a bunch
anywho,
of friends. I'll have to message a bunch of friends. They just went out there for EDC, which is a huge festival. So I'll have to check.
yeah, I mean, there's still conferences going on there, and Doug mentions that his boss is going there for AWFS, but I'm curious. So
Yeah.
it's kind of wild to see some of the bigger conferences in AEC go to the East Coast. So between Chicago, New York, Nashville for AU, and now Washington D.C. for Unbound, it's gonna be interesting, and
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. So speaking of Unbound, Michael and I will be there. I don't know what that means for our Tuesday morning session. Maybe I think we're still probably going to do it live from there somehow, but the Unbound one, we're actually going to be doing MCR live at Unbound as part of a theater talk. So it's going to be, open to the crowd. It's going to be a really fun time, unique sort of layout that they've shown us already. So we're excited for that, and we're hoping that some of y'all join us on for that session.
Yep.
But otherwise, we'll probably do some sort of meetup or hangout or something, whether it be coffee or cocktails or something. But
Yeah, we'll be there. So just
yeah,
find us. We'll hang out, and we'll try to drop in as much as we can to classes between monitoring and being out at the booth. I think we're gonna have some swag. I think maybe I'll talk to Whitney. I'm pretty sure we will.
we'll find something, whether it's just pens we stole from the hotel. But we'll go ahead and
Borrow from the hotel.
borrow. There we go. There
There
we
you
go. Borrow.
go. Long term.
We'll go ahead and fire up some software and start talking about takeoff strategies.
Yeah. So what do you have in mind when you brought up this topic? Nothing. Okay. So you want me to go through?
Yeah, totally. What I had in mind was, eventually, maybe next month or coming up soon, we'll do a similar class for Autodesk Takeoff here on MCR. That way, people can do the sort of Pepsi challenge, what works best for your firm. For a lot of firms, they're not using, and I'll put the spoiler alert right now, if you're not using Revit, Autodesk Takeoff isn't going to blow your mind.
So, well, let's bring that full circle. So basically what you want to do, hold on, I'm going to sneeze.
Don't do it. Look up at the light and say elephant 3 times.
It went away.
Wow. That doesn't happen very often.
So basically, how Autodesk Takeoff works, from my knowledge, I'm not very well versed. I'm going to assume, and I don't like assuming, but I will. It's asset based, so elements, right? So families that are in Revit that you can itemize and quantify, which is different than a workflow from taking off on a 2D plan set. So I always, in the reference, think of those as two separate solutions, not comparative solutions, because you're going to be quantifying in a different way than you would have ever been able to do in Bluebeam. Anyways, the only difference would be maybe if you're trying to get measurements and like manually input the data into something like Excel from a 3D PDF. I had this conversation just the other day with a client who actually looked at my YouTube videos and then messaged me. And then we actually had a call yesterday to do some trainings for quantity takeoffs. But we'll go through and talk about some of those examples. One of those kind of like hot topic items were using like cost estimating cladding, exterior cladding, and knowing the surface area, right? And you can do that automatically by using 3D PDFs. So if I just go to the area here, and then we go down to this one, I was bringing up this as an example. Like you can get data from someone that is sending you a file if it's a 3D PDF. Now you can't create the custom columns you're probably going to want to get out of it because it's 3D parametric data. And in here, right, if we go to columns and we go to manage columns, you're not going to be able to customize these columns that are here. This is all elemental data from Revit, right? So this was a Revit model printed as a what's called a 3D PDF, but you can see the data. So that was one of those conversations that we were having, like exterior cladding. They want to know the surface area of something, right? They can go through and look at that element. So this wood siding right here is the area of it is 234 square feet, right? The volume of it, which we don't need to know. We just want to know the surface area. But basically right here, this is what they need, the measurement of that to know how much cladding they're going to need to purchase, right? So that is one example, but it's not going to go through. This would be closer if you were doing it in this thought process to Autodesk Takeoff in terms of element data, right? So these in Revit, like this wall right here, is an element in Revit, right? So as you're going through and understanding that, that's kind of going through, and it's not comparative to what we're typically doing in Bluebeam Review, which would be estimating from a 2D plan set, right? So that's where I find Autodesk Takeoff, which isn't part of Build per se, but it is a separate license cost, is where it would be integrated, right? So,
right, Takeoff can do 2D and 3D. But it does work better with that elemental data as you've shown there. But that trick you just showed with the 3D PDF and being able to pull that area, that's pretty slick. I know a few years ago, I don't know, one of our episodes we were trying to calculate how much paint you needed for a wall, right? And we were trying to do some custom columns for that. But that makes things tricky when you're looking at an exterior where you have the irregular shapes. And that's where pulling that 3D data would be incredible, right? Because you're getting that area without having to do any tricky math, and it would handle, non-square values.
yeah, if you're thinking of like some type of exterior building that has something like this, let me select it, where it's something like that.
Yeah, a gable style roof or something like that.
Like this just pops out and then it's straight from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if it's a length, width times depth issue, great. It's going to work fine. But when you have those irregular shapes, there's just no way to do that.
Yeah, because if your section's here, it's like, how's that angle going to happen? You know what I mean?
Right? You'd have to do...
In here.
Be too hard.
You'd have to have a section here, here, and here to get an accurate surface area, right?
Or you'd have to do elevation views. And hopefully get lucky with... dynamic.
Well, I was thinking, like, if you did that, could you do a volume to get a surface area? Because isn't there one that has depth, that a wall depth? Hold on.
The wall area.
Yeah. So it's not this one. Which one gives you the wall area? I'm waiting for somebody in the chat.
Area, poly length, and perimeter all have a depth add.
Yeah, but there's a wall.
Like I remember seeing the wall area, but was that a custom column that we made? Wall area shows up in the markups list, not in the measurements list.
Yeah. So there's nothing there. So I guess you would have to do depth.
Or Doug says turn it on as a caption. There it is. But yeah, you still have to run depth in order to. There you go.
Okay. So you would use the area tool. Was that the area tool? That was the area tool.
Mm-hmm.
So if I did this area tool for this wall, is it going to go through and tell me that wall depth? Accurately. I guess I would have to test it. I would have to know what that wall depth actually, like the surface area of this wall is. Like, how does this wall area caption work?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know?
Yeah, because it's not a factor of 2. Your area is 70. I took 129 divided by 77.62 and got 1.66. So what is that math? My math isn't mathing, but
how would you do, if I want to know the surface area of this front face here, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get the surface area of this front face without having an elevation view?
Oh, so Doug's saying it takes the length of each segment and then applies the depth, and then it adds it all together. So it's not an area-based calculation, it's a perimeter-based calculation. So I bet if you turned on a caption for perimeter, the math would work. That makes sense.
So the depth would be the height, right? So if I said
Yes.
this wall is 8 feet, so this just gives you the overall surface area. So you would have to do 1. If I did this, click, enter, then I said that this wall is 8 feet. That would give you that one segment.
There you go. And there's your 8 factor of 8. So yeah, now that would help with your wall area for cladding or paint or.
So you would do this then. So let's just say you're making different perimeter markups that do different wall heights is what you would essentially create. Is my assumption. There's an assumption there. So for my flooring example measurements, I'm going to add that into there. So basically what I'm going to do is drag this custom markup already into here. I'm going to do wall height or what exterior area. I don't know. Y'all come up with the ideas. I'll figure out what I'm going to label it at some point. But the label is going to be 8-foot walls. So 8 foot. Right. So now that I know that these are automatically going to be 8 feet, right? When I make this, and I'm going to pre-assign an 8-foot depth and pre-assign the wall area. So now I can click this, do this one. The only sad part is you're going to hit enter on every single one to get those. Does that show up in the markups list, the wall area?
Probably if you turn it on. Yep.
Oh, you do? Cool. So that would, how do you get total wall areas? Where's that at? Okay. So exterior area 8 foot. I would probably want to label it by 8 foot. Get my overall surface area here, so wall area there. That's how you would probably want to do it.
Mm-hmm. So Doug uses this for takeoff things like wall panel returns that aren't elevated.
Mm.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
this just muddies up the water here. I would probably turn all the captions off. To be
Yeah, that would
honest.
make life so much easier because you
Yeah,
don't need it
because
in plan view.
it's just so busy. Why is it still showing? Whatever. But at least you have it down here. The only unfortunate part is clicking one by one. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I guess you don't need to worry about clicking one by one because you're just going to go through the entirety of the building. So you just actually don't, it doesn't matter. You don't need to worry about going one by one, right?
Well,
Because
if it was a consistent height building,
oh, yeah.
right? If we
Okay,
knew that it was
whatever.
all an 8 foot wall, then we got a different story. But
Why is it still showing this caption?
you're clicking the
There we
wrong
go.
button.
So, and then you would have your total area here of that specific one. So, which I didn't grab this one, which is what I want to do. Let's go back and redo it.
It's gonna skip window openings and things like that. But honestly, that's
Yeah, right. I'm just going through the windows.
yeah. I mean, if you're doing paint, that will make up for spillage.
Yeah, there you go. So now you have your square footage here. Cool. So that's what you would do. You just create your custom markup that has everything that you need, and then you go through and do that. If you didn't have elevations, right? So that would be
Right.
estimating exterior from a 2D and not being provided elevations for that.
Elevations would be more accurate because then you could use the cutout tool to remove windows and door openings and
Yes.
and the trim.
Yeah, and some people get those elevations and some people don't. So I'll have to go look and see. I thought I had some. Yeah, here we go. So this would be like, see that there's some issues here, but we'll just go through and do it. This would be that area here where you could just do an area measurement and then do a cutout, right? So if I wanted to go through what?
I've never seen this PDF, and now I'm wondering if I have it in my little collection that I never clicked on.
No, this is my own collection.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something that one of our internal team worked on that we are allowed to share. But yeah, so as you go through, and you can tell that shadows were enabled. So what does that mean, folks? If shadows are enabled in Revit,
You're
not
on
gonna
the
be able to
wrong
guess
guy.
it.
What?
You're not gonna be able to guess it.
Shadows are enabled in Revit. It tells you that
What happens in my PDF?
the shadows show up in your plan view.
It prints as raster by default.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, you can even tell it's an image. Yeah.
Oh, so you're having a real hard time with this.
I'm just gonna
Make it work.
in it. Yeah. But yeah, so basically shadows are enabled by default when you use shadows. I don't know. Where was I going?
When shadows are enabled by default in Revit, therefore when you create elevations, you're going to have raster PDFs.
They're not enabled by default, but when you enable them by default, it prints a raster. Thank you for retracting me on that. Yeah. Remember, no coffee. 2 months now. It's great.
Oh,
life's amazing. That was sarcastic. Could you tell?
Let me have an extra sip for you.
Yeah, it's great.
There's siding behind those shadows. Your calc will be short.
Whatever. Okay. You know what? Try my best out here. So we'll do some cutouts here. The main goal was to show like cutouts. So if you wanted to cut this out here, boom.
Now, is that removing it from the original markup? It is.
Yeah.
It just knows that it's within another area. That must have been weird to program.
What, a cutout?
Yeah.
Yeah. Subtraction of space. But I mean, so going back full circle, talking about comparative products, right? People are using comparative products outside of review. Now, I don't see the reason why. So let's just bring this back full circle. You may or may not just purchase review for your takeoff solution, right? The added benefit that it does this, quantity takeoffs, and everything else you need to do in PDFs is one of the main reasons why you'd purchase it. Would you agree or disagree?
So let me repeat that. Not many folks are going to buy a review just for takeoff.
Correct.
What they're going to use it for is their all-in-one, all-encompassing PDF solution that can do takeoffs. Right? That's what makes this interesting. And as someone posted on LinkedIn this morning, like I think it was David Recker, he was offended that it's just a PDF software. And he's like, I wouldn't work here for 10 years if it only did PDFs, which is right. And we wouldn't be able to talk about this weekly for over 4 years if it was just a PDF. I would have got bored long ago, but we're always finding different ways that people are using it and different ways that you can use it. And the future of Bluebeam is going to be quite different coming up soon too. So we're going to have more to even talk about. So it's not just for PDFs, kids.
There's a comment that there's hiding behind those shadows. Which shadows? Oh, these? Well, I think this is the this is the top of the roof.
Is that the soffit?
I think it's the roof.
I don't know. The whole elevation, not the skirting.
Yeah, I would need a section, but I'm almost positive that this is the roof itself. Yeah,
the elevation not giving me a full view of the garage really bothers me.
Oh, this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Intentional. But yeah, so just being aware of that. Okay, so
still pretty cool.
What else?
So what if you wanted, since we've got this elevation view, how would you handle a symbol? And I was trying to look for one in there, like I guess this elevation doesn't really work.
Yeah, this isn't. So what this was intended for, because we were talking about this for custom window and door company. I mean, I used to do custom windows and doors manufacturing all the time. And this is what we would see: elevations or door schedules, right? To go through and estimate how much these custom windows and doors would cost. And we'd have to know what type of doors they want, because it's completely different than just ordering pre-built options. Does that make sense? Like they were highly custom windows and doors. Where a traditional just single swing entry door would run around like 10 to 15 grand, right? But with that, if you were going and just estimating this, you do the same kind of thought process of, we never used Bluebeam while we were there, which is funny. But yeah, so basically what you can come in here and do is you can go through and use area measurements to do the same thing. So as long as you're coming in here and going from here to here, you can go through and just get your cost estimates that you need as well for what you're going to be provided. So this is just one option to go through and just do estimating from that perspective. The other one Jason was talking about is symbols. So if you need to go through and estimate from a symbol perspective, things on PDF sets, and we'll just go through and show some examples here, because I have a full set that has all of my combined markups in here for takeoffs. So we can just run through some of these. So this one is going, this one is going through and estimating for mechanical units. So you have your, no, I'm going to go back. So we have our markups for our area here, so that you can go through and know from an area measurement of all of your data. So again, you have all of this elemental data here that allows you to go through and cost estimate for different size members, so you can quantify everything. So again, you have your single distances, and then you have your overall span of what that ductwork is. You also have different systems that you're going to go through for your VAV systems to go through and quantify. So you have 26 of those VAV systems. So again, this could have been done by searching for VAV. That's probably what I would have done. Those folks that have probably done this before, it's easier to search for text than it is to search for symbols at the moment. So I would go through, if I was looking for my SD2s and I wanted to go, probably wouldn't search for what those look like, right? I would go through and just search SD-2 to quantify these versus going through and actually applying for those. So I don't know anything about mechanical, so.
Fair enough. I mean, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
So you said searching for text is easier than searching for symbols, and then you had a sort of, for now. Do you know something?
You always catch me on those. So, so a client asked the other day, like, what AI innovations has Bluebeam come out with? And they haven't. You can all have faith in my perspective of AI, and it won't change. AI is something that's learning off of input data. And we're not there yet, right? So there isn't any solution that has AI driven in Bluebeam, even in the Autodesk world. There's no AI. I guess the closest thing would be that search for like specs, but it's not really AI. There's no AI solution out there currently in the Autodesk ecosystem or even the Bluebeam ecosystem, in my opinion. What's your opinion, Bluebeam?
But they're both
Jason?
Throwing that term around like it's coming tomorrow.
Yes.
They're working on it. Obviously, they have to be. But it's really annoying because we take a lot of calls here at ATG about, hey, what's AI? What's it going to be?
AI?
It's like, well, they
Don't
say
you have
they're
AI?
going to do this, but
this says AI in it.
Yeah, it must be AI. So make it do all the stuff for me.
Great.
If only it was that easy, right?
I think it's because people are actually embracing the fact that this is going to make their work a lot easier. That people are now asking for it, and that when it says it, they're like, "Why isn't it?" Because it's supposed to be this fix-it-all button.
I know, but this software already does make your work a lot easier if you use it right. And that's where we've been talking about this for years now. But still, AI isn't going to say, "Oh, okay, dear AI, please count every electrical fixture in this building, quantify it versus today's prices at the Home Depot in Chicago, Illinois on Route 56 or whatever, and add it all to the cart." Like, is that the type of AI that we're looking for? Because that would be kind of wild.
Yeah, it'd be like you could do prompt input AI driven, like, hey, go search for all of this in the documents. It learns then from you searching. So whenever you open up a PDF set, you just click the button and it automatically already knows what you're going to search for in the PDF set, right? That would be AI. Great. We're not there. And the reason why I hinted at that is not that I know, but to me, this seems like an easy area to have that as automation, which is it learns. There's a learning model in here that allows you to input key strokes that you're conveniently doing every single day, and then you're able to automate those features. Now, that is a theory. That is not true. That would be amazing, but all of our software, if you didn't know, they know what features you use on a daily basis, right? There's back-end windows to understand what you're using. Perfect example would be Autodesk, where they have Autodesk Insights. You use this command the most. So if they're learning about what we're using, that's data that they could input into an AI model to understand what we can do more effectively, aka at some point this will be better. So that's where I was going. There's nothing out there. They will be releasing that AI search function for deep data in your PDFs and studio projects. My theory would be to piggyback off of that to search for metadata on PDFs to quantify. That's where my thought was going.
Yeah, it certainly could be. And I think we talked about this before, but especially in the Autodesk realm. And this does work for studio projects as well, where you have revision history, right? I'm going from revision 1 to revision 2, and how you got there was that you used this command 4 times, this command 4 times, this command 8 times. Now the machine can compare what's different, how you got there, and then that's all feeding the input.
It's kind of like I equate it to maps.
Okay.
Tells
it's been a while since I've questioned your age, Michael, but I have one now.
What, like MapQuest is what you're thinking?
No. Oh, no. I mentioned craving input. Do you know of the movie Short Circuit?
No. If you tell me how the movie went, I may have watched it.
Johnny Five, Steve Guttenberg.
Okay, I don't know names, but what happened in the movie? What happened in the movie?
Johnny Five, the robot, no disassemble.
Yeah, not clicking.
Okay, checking.
Okay, I mean,
I'm gonna have to give you a whole list of movies to get you caught up on.
This is the thing. I have a terrible memory for like names of movies and things of that nature, names of actors.
I'm
but if I see some examples, like you remember the other day when you talked to me about who was it?
I don't
the cartoons.
Oh,
Hanna-Barbera, right?
Hanna-Barbera? Yeah. That was a while ago.
See, I already knew all of them. I just didn't realize who the person was. So, anyways, getting back forward.
Doug put a gif of Johnny Five in the chat.
Okay, let's see. I can't. It's too small.
See, we could spend the rest of the episode just quoting this movie. So some of us can, apparently.
Yeah, definitely. I've never seen that. So,
I feel I need to talk to your parents because I guarantee your parents know this movie.
Yeah, definitely not.
Your mama was a snowblower. Anyway,
but going.
See, I'm quoting the movie.
Yeah, going forward. Yeah, you have the ability to go through and estimate. So the next one that we're going to go through is look at an electrical plan. So this would be the same thing. Hopefully in the future, again, if there's some type of automation, I could see there being a great shift in the way that we automate our current workflows to be more effective. That's where it's going to happen. We have a huge labor shortage for experienced folks, and the only way to fix that, mitigate that, would be making the lower amount of people that are working be more effective at their job, right? Why not? That's where a lot of the innovation is going to come from. So
let's repeat that for a bit, because I'm seeing this across multiple industries, right? There's a labor shortage, which is true currently. It's going to get worse. And how do we fix it?
Experienced labor shortage is the issue. Yes.
Right. So
because there's a lot of big companies out there laying people off. So there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. But for the AEC industry, let me shrink that down a little bit more. Experienced is where we're having the issue. Right.
Yeah. It's not bodies and seats that's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting. So like we're just going to give everybody more power to do their job effectively and efficiently. And finally, the efficiency word that I love so dearly is starting to matter a little bit more.
Yep. Yeah, we just hope that my hope is that it's not requiring no knowledge of the industry. That's when it will be scary. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like you click this button, that's all you do every day. You just click a button. You don't need to know what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be the fear. But
I mean, I could see.
I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I could see from a profitability standpoint, you would probably want that because then you can pay Jason Artley minimum wage to come in and press that button for me, and it does all the quantification that it needs to do. But you don't know what it's doing.
I mean, you could just make a robot that clicks a button, though.
Oh, that's
Right?
even further.
So,
I didn't think about that, man. Stepping
like,
it up.
there's no manual thing. Yeah, there's a shortage of skilled trades, and there's an even bigger shortage of skilled trades that have computer and other office tools. You're 100% right, Doug. I was talking about this. So internally at ATG, we have a Greater U course where we train each other, right?
Yep.
Michael did a class. I've done a class. There's a few other people
We're
at the
still
company
doing classes
that have done classes. And I've talked about why, especially in the civil engineering industry, I talk to firms across the country, and they're like, well, we can't find drafters anymore. I'm like, what happened to the drafters? Well, if you remember, right, a lot of us with a drafting background went to a tech school, ITT Tech or DeVry or whatever it was, local community college. There were drafting courses everywhere. It was on it was on the TV. It was on billboards. It was like, hey, come get a career. When was the last time you saw one of those? And just the industry
haven't looked, but
is gone. They're still out there. DeVry is actually still in business, but they don't have drafting classes anymore. So now engineers are doing drafting, and guess what? They weren't taught how to draft, and nor did they sign up to be drafters. So this is where things are really interesting in our world. We have all this talent, but it's sort of fragmented.
Yep.
Ooh, Chris with the
that's a
dagger
zinger
out there.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can repeat that. I'm just kidding. But you're right.
It's so foreign to me because I hear that a lot, and I'm like, how do you not know how to read plans? But it happens, right?
It does happen. That is a skill in itself.
Like, I'll read construction documents very well. Will I read instructions from an IKEA set? No.
Yeah. And even if you're looking at MEP plans versus architectural versus engineering, you're like, it's not all 1-to-1.
Yeah, but the sense of them is very understandable in what they're doing, right? Like, I mean, could you explain to me what's happening here?
Yeah, you're using conduit, which isn't curved, to connect electrical outlets to switches.
But it's just showing them how they're going to connect to what. So when the switch happens, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between the ones that are colored in and the ones that, I guess those are GFCIs because they're by the water?
Yeah, GFIs, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird. You don't need to have, I guess you intentionally are having them. If they're all stringing together, you would just need to have one GFI. I guess it might be pertaining to the code in the commercial area. So you might have to have multiple ones.
There should be a legend somewhere. Yeah, because I was like, why does it have a line through it? Oh, there's no legend.
There is no legend. I looked. Yeah, this is from Bluebeam.
David Rickard, just talking about him this morning, and here he is in the markups list. So
yeah. Cool. We'll go to the next one.
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
Jason's
this is
World.
One of my favorite ones. Did David do this one?
We can look.
Yeah, it looks like he did.
No, this is a career.
Oh, don't know. But this is something that I talk about frequently in the civil world is that, you've got different types of pavement. You've got different, 4-inch for concrete. You've got 8-inch for paved ways. And sometimes you got thicker for the heavy pavement where the trucks are going to be driving. So you can totally use review for that if you have those outlined areas. And it looks like in this case, they used, probably did not use dynamic fill, maybe used dynamic fill, created some borders around.
That's dynamic fill for sure.
And then a cutout for that entry spot. But yeah, can it be used? Absolutely. Also, if you did it right in Civil 3D, you'd have all this information as well, but not everybody, as we talked about before, not everybody's sharing their drawings and models. Now it's like you get a PDF and that's it. And in some ways, I get that protection of data, but as an industry, we could allow for better
But it's
accuracy
also
in
like,
construction.
yeah, I mean, it's downstream effect though too. Probably the person that's probably going to be bidding this wouldn't be at that upstream design phase, right? Like this would be downstream. The GC reaches out. Here's your plan set, right? How much is this going to cost? Would you
Right.
agree?
Or
Yeah.
they downloaded this for it's a open to bid, or
Yeah.
what is it? RFP was out there, and
RFP.
here's your PDF. Figure it out. That way, everybody has the same accessible data to make a qualifying bid.
Mm-hmm.
Issued for tender. I don't know if I've heard that one, Doug.
And then you have this poly-length one here, just showing the distance from there to there.
Oh, see, proper civil draftsman would have labeled that pipe, because all you got to do is click label, and it would have said,
distance.
128 feet of 12-inch RCP or whatever it's supposed to be.
I think the intent, yeah. Yeah, they should have done it that way. I was going to say, I think their intent was to not have it for this, but yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So next one up is Doug's World. This is where Doug lives and breathes. This is their example, not Doug's. But if you go through, you can look at some casework here, examples as they went through and created some different items to account for cabinet doors. Then they have this fixed panel for glazing here. Then they have some additional ones for the lower cabinet, 24-inch deep millwork. And then they have this, which is some type. Oh, it's the same thing, I guess. But what are they using for it? So
yeah, what measurement? Just a poly length for that. Interesting.
yeah, this is just a perimeter measurement.
Oh, with a wide. Oh, I see what they did. That's kind of neat. I think that's a way that I know I haven't looked at using for polylinks, is doing something wide like that with an opacity. That way you can clearly see what's been denoted.
Yeah, I mean, you know the depth of it, and you just need to know the width of your cabinets. But wouldn't you want to know each door segment? But probably not, because you're just going to divide this one by 2. But what about these 3 ones?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So if you're doing a budget Doug does something like this when he's doing a budget takeoff. So what's the difference between a budget takeoff and just seeing if it's even in the ballpark?
Yeah, yeah. Quick, easy. Hey, is this in the budget? Definitely not.
Yeah. When you're value engineering stage.
Yeah. That's the term. I was trying to think about that term the other day. Okay, so now we're looking at piping. So we have some cold water, hot water, sink, storm drain, toilets, and waste. So they went through and just quantified this from a PDF that was given to them, obviously. But this would be for like a master plumber or something, understanding the amount of cost for it, right? But again, I think there's some downstream effect here, right? This could have just been given to somebody from like an estimate standpoint. But I guess if you have a standalone team and you need to go through and quantify it, you can. So they went through and just created waste. You have your hot water markups. You have your storm drain markups here. And then now you have all that data. They put it in a schedule here, but as always, if you guys didn't know, you can create a PDF summary report or get it into Excel. So I'm just going to go and print out this report to kind of show you what it looks like. There's 148 items here, so hopefully this goes quick.
So, Chris, I saw your question before you edited it, but that's a good question. Will it show slope length? Because right now, like, you've got storm drain length 95 feet 9 inches with a rise drop of 12 feet. Will it show 2D length and 3D length?
I think there's a slope that you can add to it. Let me go back. One of the measurements, I think, has slope. Yeah, this one has a pitch. So area does, but your poly length does not. It just has a rise and drop. So that's your rise and drop height.
Doug says you can apply a slope and pitch to an area tool. Just change the pitch. There's a drop down.
Yeah, there's this right here. I said the area, but there's
okay,
nothing for like this, which would be a long run distance. This is the poly length. So if you did, sorry, that's perimeter. Poly length doesn't have it either. Poly length just gives you the rise and drop. So like how much rise and how much drop you're going to have. It's only the area. Let's see what else.
Chris says use
volume
the
probably
tool.
doesn't. Yeah, this is just depth as well. The regular just length tool, you mean? So the regular length tool does give you a slope so that you can use that, but not the one that they're using here, which is perimeter won't give you that. It's just a rise and drop. So they're just compensating for an additional 9 feet of rise and drop to that. But yeah. So what else we got? Get it all taken care of. So you have a reflective ceiling plan, so they're quantifying your intake outtakes for your HVAC system. Roof plan, so they're going through and quantifying the roof
there's your slope
itself.
and pitch right there.
Yeah.
And this one. So they're going off half a foot, half an inch at 12 inches.
Mm-hmm. And then we have some additional stuff in here. So this is flooring. Super simple to make flooring markups, quantify and count from those as well. So that's what this is going through and using as well. Now, if we go all the way to the end, again, all of your data can live in the markups list. So as you're going through and looking at all the information, this all could have been quantified there. It could be exported out to Excel because maybe that's something you're used to doing. We can see all the flooring here, right, as we're going through and looking at that. You have all of the data that you need to run a bid on this plan set. Super simple and easy. As long as you go and create your custom tool sets, right? So I think that's the key takeaway when you're doing quantity takeoffs. Whatever you need to quantify, the data that needs to be associated to it, you can customize and save for later use.
Mm-hmm. That way, put it in a tool set, make a legend for it, save it, export it, back it up. That way you've got, that time that you spend configuring your custom tools is going to make itself up on every project.
Yep. Yeah, it's just making sure you're saving the right tools to use later on to quantify whatever you need to quantify. That way it has all the built-in metadata for it, like this resurfacing asphalt here. There could have been a predetermined cost volume to it too. That could be determined by the profile. So as long as you have the profile with cost in it versus just the PDF itself, it will be associated to be able to be applied in here. I think I did it in these ones, but this one I didn't save because I did training and deleted them and then recreated them. I don't think I saved these to my profile. But the ability to then, if you save them to your profile, you'd see them here. You could apply them across the board. But yeah.
And if you want to know more about doing crazy stuff with takeoffs in Excel, you can come to Unbound and meet Doug and take his amazing class involving Power BI and Power Query and all things that make my eyes go back into my head.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to record those.
Yeah.
Doug, do you know?
No Power BI. I'm getting my terms wrong.
It's Power Query.
Yeah, I haven't heard if
You're almost there.
They were going to record classes. I know they do at Autodesk University.
Yeah, they make you pre-record the class before you teach it at AU.
Pretty
Perfect.
wild. So next week,
we're in the air. I won't know till this afternoon.
So let's see. Next week is the new org admin should be out by next week. Just saying. But our topic for next week is I won't be there because I will be in meetings, but Michael will be solo in Little Rock. So maybe
we may be. That's
may be able to get somebody else from that office to join you. And then we've got a whole bunch of things coming up live, including Michael and myself live in Arizona. So we're going to be doing a bunch of travel. Our schedules might be a little funky for the next few months, but we're looking forward to ramping up to seeing you all at Bluebeam Unbound in DC. Otherwise, we'll see you on the YouTubes or every Tuesday morning, 8:30 Central.
Yep. Thank you, sir. We'll close out with that. Thanks, everybody. Again, feel free to reach out to us if you guys have any questions along the way. And then, as always, comment below on this YouTube video as well, as this is where it will remain. But see you all next time.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.